Well, our topic is innovation. And Bob, I have to tell you, the only word that I trust that ends with a shun is vacation. So, what is innovation in shared services and outsourcing, Bob?
I actually thought you were going to ask me a harder question.
Don't worry, I'm warming up.
It's warming up.
Okay.
I think it's a bit of in the eyes of the beholder, but that's almost too simple of an answer, and you would skewer me at the end of the session if that's what I gave you the answer. So I'll give you my personal opinion of it. And I think we're not...
Is that the same opinion you give your clients?
Yeah, it is, most of the time. Some people think innovation is that simple continuous improvement, operating continuous improvement. No way is that innovation. That's not even close. And if you're not doing that, you shouldn't even be in this game, to be honest. Where I have found most of my clients focused on, and even the service providers, they tend to think of it in a process and technology. What new process and what underlying technology can I get? I don't personally call that innovation. That's innovation with a small I, and there's some benefit to it. I think if you really thought of innovation in a sense of more breakthrough innovation, it's probably more in the information world. It's all this data analytics type of work. And if we're really focused on innovation there, that's what's going to have the bigger impact in terms of business value. We had a discussion yesterday afternoon in the executive exchange session, good dialogue as to where shared services even creates shareholder value or not. And if you're really going to drive shareholder value, I think it's more in that innovation world as opposed to just the process and technology world.
Now it's time to get a little bit more interesting. By the way, we have this shtick down to a fine art. Do you really believe that it's possible to innovate? For a couple of reasons. Number one, shared services and outsourcing is, to a great extent, the servant of the corporation. Mm-hmm. Business support, business services. What services do they serve? Also, I don't know if I've ever seen either a shared services or an outsourcing arrangement where there was a word other than no. No more cost, no noise, no investment, no disruption. No new technology if it's going to cost me some money. So how do you get yes out of no?
Okay.
How do you change to start to deal with technology and analytics if it's all about no?
Well, so wait a minute for a moment. If you're dealing with technology with the only output being process and productivity and cost savings, you're not going to get there. You're not going to get to the breakthrough innovation. And that's, unfortunately, is where a lot of the investment has been. Okay, so great, I can do an account reconciliation better and faster. So what? Okay, yes, that's nice against my contract and things like that. But again, it's not going to drive business value. It's interesting. In the last year, I've been able to step a little out of the shared services world. I'm actually working with some clients right now on their product innovation process. It's really interesting when you step out of our world for a while and go see how some of these companies actually develop their product. And they look at it through a very different lens. They look at it from a business outcome perspective. There are only a few companies. Phil just made mention of his research, 80% lift and shift. I think that's probably right. It's certainly a place where we have historically been because most of this has still been first generation, maybe second generation outsourcing and shared services. And let's be really honest, most clients are two things. Give me cost savings and make it stable. That's all. That's what it's all about.
With no noise.
With no noise, silent running. So you're going to have to pick the few clients out there that are willing to take it a little further. Now, in the innovation side of the world, and the information side of the world, as opposed to the process side, it's actually less disruptive. So if you think about innovation for a process, that's fairly disruptive. And it goes against the concept of no noise. But if you're into this information world for innovation, you can actually get by and do some breakthrough innovation and actually have a business impact and still not destroy the silent running of the basic operations.
You really think so? I mean, if you think about it, to innovate, you have to be able to not only disrupt, but you have to be able to fail. If you look at, for example, Twitter was a failure for a number of years. I mean, you have to be able to embrace, you're familiar with the term, I don't know if you're a duck hunter, the flying duck strategy? where you shoot in front of the duck. I mean, how many organizations are willing to look at their shared services and outsourcing and shoot in front of the duck and say, you know, it's okay if you fail? How many providers, for example, are told, you know, it's okay if you fail for a while?
I think it depends on how quickly you go after the innovation. So
slow failure.
Well, not slow failure, but more pilots. There's going to be some failures along the way. What my observation of those who have this business analytics path, very few, in fact, almost none, have gone down the path of go hire. What was it that that Phil just said? We're going to have a shortage of 200,000 data scientists. They don't go out and hire 50 data scientists and put them into their organization. They hire 1, 2, 3. They try it in some pilots. They have some failures. I mean, we talked about even KPMG going down this path. You know, we went out and we bought this company called Wise Windows to do unstructured data. Well, you know what? We're going to fail a little. You know, we are in KPMG because we didn't go out and buy it and say, we know the perfect information set that we're going to go after. We said, we're buying some capability and we're going to start to deploy that capability in place. We're going to find some places that it's going to work. We're going to have some places that it isn't. And because of the nature of that, as opposed to it requires a big bang with a full process, I think you have some opportunities to more gradually introduce innovation.
Talking about failure, not all cultures allow failure.
Yeah.
Some embrace it, some don't. Certainly high technology companies will embrace failure. When you look at your clients and you say, you know, there's an opportunity for innovation in service delivery, in shared services and outsourcing, what are the traits that you look for? What are the markers that you look for to say that this company is a good place to try to innovate, to do these pilots you're talking about?
The best ones I've seen are actually healthy companies.
Healthy companies?
Yeah.
Are there healthy companies?
Yeah, there are some healthy companies. I'm working with a couple right now that are very healthy.
Okay.
And they made a very conscious choice to go down this path of global business services with a strong information analytics bent to it. Their stock price is at an all-time high. They're outcompeting all of their competitors, you know, in the marketplace. And they made a very conscious choice to do it when they're strong.
Okay.
Because it allows, and they knew this, they will say this to their employees, it allows us to have the failures. If we're up here in terms of how we're being market competitive, we can afford a couple failures. If you're in a troubled company, you don't have that opportunity because the market is not going to allow you.
What about the culture of companies that you think can attempt some shared services and outsourcing innovation? Not just the balance sheet, but and the P&L, but what are some of the markers you look for to say, yeah, the culture will allow this?
Well, this is where I'm going to pull in a little of the leading practices that I picked up from looking at product innovation of the company. Collaboration is really big. Because the way, in fact, Barbara Hodges is doing a blog on this one around the Yahoo situation and all of those types of things. But collaboration, the way innovation happens, ideation happens, okay, is by bringing a large set of people together and then being able to collaborate and come up with ideas and then call them. So probably the central theme, I would say, is an ability to collaborate not just among themselves, but also among external partners and the like.
Okay. Give some examples. I mean, you've talked about product innovation, which is great, but can you give some examples of clients who have truly innovated, and you don't have to, we'll protect the innocent, who have truly innovated in shared services and outsourcing, some examples that you point out to your clients that are on the ground, that are running, because sometimes I wonder whether innovation is just an aspiration or a way to sell outsourcing deals.
I think it's pretty limited, to be honest. Because, as we said, we've got the 80% of the population. So you're dealing with the 20% that are not just lift and shift and then move beyond. So I'll give a few, though. Pfizer did some very interesting things with something called Pfizer Works, which was they called Office of the Future, to be able to bring some of these capabilities to bear. That was, and they did it with, we are going to create a capability and let them come and they will buy the service. So that's a good example, and they knew they would have some failures. I think P&G has probably done some good things. They do some things around analytics as well, combined with their industry sort of services to be able to build that out and more business outcome oriented.
But it's fair to say there's more to come. This innovation
this is, I mean, if you ask me, I can name 5 companies. I can't name 20.
Okay, so not a trend yet.
Not yet.
And outsourcing providers who profess innovation, what do you think about them?
I think if they continue to focus on purely a technology, which a lot of them do, they'll miss the boat. They have to move from a process-centric to an information-centric, and they're going to have to put some investment, and not everybody's going to be able to do it because innovation takes some investment.
And shooting in front of the duck.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Bob.